Hold on. All right, good to go? Here we go. Welcome to Final Score here on your Monday evening. Pete Homer in the studios. Final Score presented by Diet and Company of Keller Williams Realty and also by Affordable Used Cars. On today's show, we're going to talk Alaska Legion Baseball State Tournament in full swing. You can catch games on Z93.7 tomorrow and Thursday. I believe tomorrow's games start at 1 o'clock, and then Thursday's games start, I believe, somewhere around 4 o'clock. We'll get to that a little bit later. We'll also talk about the NFL suspending running back, Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice as well. You'll get my opinion on that. The Hall of Fame for baseball Hall of Fame, inducting some big names, biggest class since 1971, inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. We'll get to that and take a look at some of their numbers as well. We'll get to Marcus Mariota, the Oregon quarterback, University of Oregon quarterback, and the classes that he is taking. Now, keep in mind, he's already graduated, but he has to take classes just to be a student so he can be eligible to play college football. We'll get to his classes here in a little bit as well. And then, of course, we'll end the show with Are You Kidding Me? Some pigeons. That's all I'm going to say, pigeons. So stay tuned for the end of the show. We'll start with Ray Rice in the NFL suspending the Baltimore Ravens running back for 2 games. In case you haven't heard, Ray Rice earlier on this year was in a incident with his what was fiancée, assaulted her, never was actually charged by the police, never was served jail time or anything like that. So he wasn't actually charged with this crime, even though it looked very, very vicious and very bad from the videotapes that we did see. And allegedly, there's videotapes out there of other stuff that happened that have not been released to the public, but the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has possibly seen these, and so have other people in the higher-ups of the NFL. And it suspended Ray Rice for 2 games. Now, the NFL is starting to face some backlash, and I see why. 2-game suspension for beating a woman, that is not enough. That does not send a statement. Suspensions have been levied much harder for I'm not going to say much less severe things, because they still are severe. But beating another human being, whether it's a man or a woman, much less a woman anyway, there is no room for that. No room whatsoever. And the penalty of a 2-game suspension, I don't feel is justified. Think about this. There's people in the NFL that get suspended half a season for using performance-enhancing drugs. They miss half the year. They miss the whole year if they've done it multiple times. Jim Irsay, here's a good example. The Colts owner, earlier on this year, arrested on drug charges and DUI. All right? Pretty severe stuff. He's endangering other people, driving under the influence, and he was arrested, fined already. And he will face a longer suspension than Ray Rice. Now, I'm not saying that these incidents of using performance-enhancing drugs, DUI arrests, whatever, are things that should not be looked at and not be suspendable offenses, because they should be. But to me, you're setting a precedent that beating up your wife or fiance or girlfriend or whatever only warrants a 2-game suspension. If you haven't seen the video of this, Ray Rice, and he admits to it, he doesn't, deny that any of this did not happen. He's not even appealing the suspension. And quite frankly, why would you? It's 2 games. He misses the first 2 games of the year. He gets to participate in training camp and preseason. He only misses the first 2 regular season games of the year. So I don't know why he would want to even think to appeal it, but he hasn't, and it doesn't look like he will. I think the time has already passed for him to even considering appealing it. But if you haven't seen the video of Ray Rice at this hotel lobby, dragging his fiancée unconscious out of the elevator, trying to wake her up, something happened in there. She didn't just pass out. Something happened. And there's video that the public has not seen of what exactly happened. And now the NFL only suspends Ray Rice 2 games. It doesn't send the message. It does not compute to me. It's okay to harm people. All right? You're only going to get 2 games. You beat some people up. All right? You inject steroids into your body. You harm yourself. All right? See, that's my thing. With performance-enhancing drugs and steroid use, who else are you harming in the game? You're not hurting anybody else. You're hurting your own self. You're hurting your own body. And that's a personal choice. But yet, we'll suspend you longer if you harm yourself rather than if you harm others. That doesn't make sense to me. That's exactly what the NFL is saying here. Earlier today, the senior vice president of labor policy, Adolfo Birch, strongly disagreed with many people's opinions and many people's opinions in the media that the league's 2-game suspension for the Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice for his domestic violence arrest was the correct amount of time. He feels it was, obviously. He's going to agree with the NFL. But only a 2 games, I can't believe that. There's no way that the discipline, the punishment of what he did or what he did to this woman is justified. None whatsoever. He went on to say in this interview with Mike and Mike on ESPN, but if it's a question of what the principle of the league is and what standards we stand by, that cannot be questioned. I think it's absolutely clear that all involved in the NFL does not condone domestic violence anyway and will not tolerate it in our own league. I don't know how you can reach a conclusion other than that, although I certainly respect the opinion. I don't know. And he also, I think he kind of threw himself under the bus a little bit, saying that I think that if he were not an NFL player, I don't know if that he would be able to receive, if he would have received any other punishment. I think he would. If Ray Rice was working someplace else and this video leaked out, other people saw this video, I think he probably potentially might get fired from a job, depending on what the job was. And also, if he wasn't as big as a public figure as he is, I think the police would have been a little bit more involved. I honestly believe that the NFL Player Association really helped Ray Rice in this situation. Somebody got down on their hands and knees and said, please, please, please be very lenient on Ray Rice. It was a one-time deal. Ray Rice, outside of this, hasn't been, and I think some of this went into the decision, hasn't been a troublemaker, hasn't been out there causing disturbances and stuff like that. This is his first real incident with the law. And he made a poor decision. But with that being said, you got to, I understand you made a poor decision once, but you got to lay down the law. You got to set the precedent and tell other people in the NFL, other players, front office members, that this is not going to be tolerated. And a 2-game suspension for beating someone up, your fiance, it just doesn't sit right with me. I think it should have been longer. Anyway, we'll take a quick break, come back, take a look at the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame inductees this year as they were inducted into Cooperstown this past weekend. Frank Thomas, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, Bobby Cox, Joe Torre, all inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. We'll take a look at those when we come back right here on Final Score. Stay tuned.